Hello, my adorable friends, and welcome to another reading video. All right, we are going to continue talking about our long U's with the E at the end and our long E's with the E at the end. Remember, anytime there's an E at the end of the word, it's going to make this vowel the long vowel. Somebody told me yesterday, Mrs. Sae-Wong, what's a vowel? And I had to think, oh my goodness gracious, let's practice that because that is so important. And it's okay if you were one of those ones that said, I don't know what a vowel is. My friends, it's okay. That's why we practice. But right here, right now, I need you all to say them with me, okay? Vowels are A, E, I, O, U. Say it again. Turn so I'm not in the way. A, E, I, O, U. One more time. What are vowels? A, E, I, O, U. So anytime we have vowels, we have to think about, does it make the long or the short sound? Remember, short A says ah, long A says A. Short E says eh, long E says E. Short I says I, long I says I. Short O says ah, long O says O. And finally, the short U says long U says U. So let's think about that for a minute. Those are the sounds that we've learned with these letters, right? But when we talk about long vowels, it's where the sound the letter makes is the same as the letter name. So a long A says A. Long E, E. I, O, U. So when I say long vowel sound, you just have to say the name of the letter, and that's the long vowel sound, okay? Promise I'm not trying to make it hard. It's not tricky. It's just something we have to practice over and over. So let's practice our long U's and our long E's just so that I know we have practiced as much as we can together. All right, just so that I know we are all understanding the difference between the short vowel and the long vowel. Let's look at the first word. There's no E at the end of it, so that means this U is going to make the short U sound, the So let's sound it out. Cut. Okay? It's the word cut. Easy peasy. But look, this is the same word, cut, but now we have an E at the end. So that tells me this U now has to make the long vowel sound, the long U. So it's going to make the U sound. Let's sound it out. Cute. All together, cute. Cut, cute. Power of the E. All right? So that is the trick. Paying attention to whether there's an E or not. No E, it makes the short Has an E, it makes the long U, the U. Let's try with the E. So no E at the end means that this E is going to make the sound. So let's sound it out. Pet. All together, pet. Good. But now we have the E. So this is going to make the long E sound. So we have eat, Pete. All together, Pete. Pet, Pete. Easy peasy, right? Let's practice a couple more. Here is the shine is strong, my friends. Okay, we've got an E. So that's going to make this the long U. So we have u, ul, rule. Sorry for a little hiccup. Tube. Rule, tube. Let's try another long E. Are you ready? These. All together, these. All right, we're going to keep practicing and more and more and more, and I promise it'll get easier and easier. But we also need to practice our sight words this week. Say them with me. House. Small. Off. Long. My house is in Reno. House. I have one small dog, and she's nice. Not like my big dog. Small. Off. We had to tell the dog to get off the couch. Off. Last one. Long. I will try to not make this a long video. You're welcome. Long. All right, let's say them rapid fire. Ready? House. small, off, long. Good job, my friends. All right, I'm going to switch over to our other camera and talk about today's work. All right, so today we're going to talk about our reading log. We're going to work in our sight words book. We're going to work in our Unit 6 magazine. And we're going to work in our writing journal. So go ahead and hit pause, grab these 4 things, plus your pencil, and come on back when you're ready. All right, if you're back with me, that tells me you have all the things and you're ready to rock and roll. First things first, let's talk about our reading log this week. This week we are working on my problem and solution reading log. So as always, you should be reading a book every day. You're going to write the title of the book, what's it called, so I know what you're reading. And then you're going to write down what the problem in the story is and what the solution is. Remember, the problem is just what happens or maybe what needs to be solved. And the solution is how that problem gets fixed. Okay? Now, I know we talked about this, but I'm going to keep talking about it because I want everybody to hear it. If you are reading a book that does not have a problem or a solution, because sometimes our books just don't, sometimes they're more for information, then you can give me 2 key details. 1, 2 key details, just important details. All right? Either way, I just want to know what's happening in your story. So, for example, when we read Why the Turtle's Shell is Cracked, well, the problem was the turtle was greedy and made everybody mad. The solution was, after his shell broke, he learned to not be greedy. How about in the gingerbread man? The problem was everybody wanted to eat the gingerbread man. The solution, the gingerbread man ran away. Okay? So there's problems and solutions in just about every story. All right, so you should be reading a book every day. You only have to write about 4 of them, but you should be reading every single day. If you have questions about the reading log, how to fill it out, what I'm looking for, let me know and we can talk about it. Okay? Next thing is our sight words book. Let's open up to the word little. Excuse me. All right. I know some of us might need a little more time, and that's okay. Just hit pause and come on back when you're ready. But I'm going to keep moving forward. Say the word with me. Little. Read the sentence with me. I am too little to drive. You are too little to drive. That's why you have moms and dads, and some of you have big brothers and sisters, which is so cool. They can drive you around. All right, practice writing the word little and make it as neat as you can. This is our time to practice that neat first grader handwriting so that our writing is neat and I can read it. What better time to practice than when we are practicing our sight words? Go through and find all of the words in the Find It box. And then down at the bottom, make sure you cut out the letters and glue them in order. And then draw me a picture that helps you understand the word little. Come on back. Hit pause, work on that. Hit pause, work on that, and come on back. Woo, Mrs. Sae-Wong's words. All right, if you're back with me, then that tells me you are all done with the word little. Let's turn the page. The next word we're going to work on is work. Say it with me. Work. Read the sentence with me. Do you work at the zoo? Good. So we're going to practice writing it. We're going to practice finding it. Cut out the letters and glue them in order, and then draw me a picture that shows, do you work at the zoo? Hit pause, work on the word work, and come on back when you're ready. All right, if you're back with me, that tells me you are all done with little and work, and we are going to move on. If you need more time, hit pause, keep working. The next thing we're going to work in is our Unit 6 magazine. So during our small group time, we read When I Hurry. I'm going to read it one more time so we can practice listening to all of our long vowel sounds, and then we're going to work on our next page and writing out some of those words. All right? So make sure you open up your Unit 6 magazine to page 14 so you can follow along. I'll give everybody a little bit of time. All right. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to read. If you need more time, hit pause. That pause button is your friend. Let's read When I Hurry. If I hurry, hurry, hurry to bake a cake, this is what happens. A huge mistake. If I hurry, hurry, hurry and grab my lunch, sometimes it drops and goes crunch, crunch, crunch. If I hurry, 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 well, you know the rest. But if I slow down, I can always do my best. Always. That's why I say take your time, hit pause, take breaks. See, he's hurrying and oh my gosh, what a mess. He's hurrying and he's crunching up pretzels. He takes his time and he builds something amazing. All right. Excuse me. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through and we're going to find a word with the long U. So remember, we're looking for something that has the U, but it makes the U sound. And we know it makes the U sound because it has the E at the end. So let's come to this word right here. I'm going to circle it. Say this word with me. Huge. Huge. And remember, the G usually says G, but since there's an E right after it, it makes that soft G sound like we learned last week. Oh my gosh, so many letters, so many rules. Let's say it one more time. Huge. Huge. He made a huge mess. Oh my gosh, what would your mom think if she came in the kitchen and you had made this huge mess? Would she be happy? Would she laugh and help you clean it up? Maybe a little bit of both. All right. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to find any words that have the long A sound, which I know we're not talking about this week, but it's important we keep practicing. So long A. How about this one? Bake, ba-a-k, and k-a-k. Do those have the long A? Bake, cake. Yep. Sorry, friends. My computer is having some hiccups, so the video might be a little glitchy. All right. That is why we practice those long vowel sounds, though, because if we didn't know that that E makes that a long A sound, and we say b-ack, back, does that sound right? No. We needed to know that is the long A because of that E. We need to know that's the long U, the U sound because of that E. That's why we practice, friends. Okay, now that we have practiced, we've read When I Hurry, we've talked about our long U sounds again. Now we're going to turn the page to page 17. My face out of the way. Page 17. All right, just like we do every week, I'm going to say the word that matches the picture, and you are going to do your best to write it out with the letter sounds you hear. Are you ready? The first picture in your book is the picture of a cub. Think about what letters we hear in the word cub. C-U-B. Take your time, write it out. C-U-B. Okay, so once you have cub written down, now our next picture is the picture of a cube. Cub and cube are the exact same except for something different at the end. So think about how you spelled cub and then spell the word cube for me. All right, I'm going to keep moving forward. If you need to pause while you write out the word cube, hit pause and then come back. For 3 and 4, we don't have pictures, so you really need to listen to the words and all of the letters. Are you ready? For number 3, you're going to write down the word these. These words can be tricky to write. These. So think about what letters we hear in the word these. All right. Number 4. Just hit pause if you need more time. Number 4, the word is huge. I made a huge mess when I spilled my coffee this morning. True story. I was sad, but it's okay. Huge. Think about what letters we hear. H, U, J. Huge. All right. Number 5 is where you write out the sentence for me. So I will say it a few times so you can hear all the words in the sentence. Are you ready? I will use this cute tube. So let's start again. I will use this cute tube. Okay, I'll say it again because I know it's hard to write and listen at the same time. I will use this cute tube. Okay, do your best writing out that sentence. Make sure we have capital and a punctuation at the end, so important. If you need to hear the sentence again, just hit rewind. Listen to it a couple times. Do your best to listen to all of the long vowel sounds in there, okay? One more time. I will use this cute tube. Okay? Send me a picture of page 17 when you are all done in Seesaw. Then finally, dun, 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 our writing journal. You're going to open up to the next blank page. We're going to write our names because we always write our names. It's important to practice. I write my name, you write your name. Then we're going to write the date, which is 3-2-21. All right. Now what we're going to do is we are going to read why Turtle's shell is cracked again. But we're not going to read the whole story. We're only going to read certain pages. And today we are going to focus on the illustrations or the pictures on those pages to figure out if it can help us identify words we might not know. So when we're reading a story and there's a word we don't know, sometimes we can use the pictures or the illustrations to help us figure out what they're talking about. So I want everybody to take a moment, hit pause if you need, write down these instructions in your journal so you know exactly what you're going to be writing about. Using the illustrations, what do you think these words mean? And we'll talk about the words in a minute. I just want you to write the instructions first. Let me zoom in, make it clear. So if you need to hit pause so you can write this down. Okay, I'm going to keep going. If you need more time, hit pause. So the first word we're going to look at is talons. So I want you to write the word talons down in your book. You don't know what it is yet. Even if you do know, I don't want you to write anything yet. Just want you to write the word. The second word I want you to write down is scarce. So you should have the instructions and these two words written down with some space in between so you can write. Okay. So remember, Turtle was a little bit selfish and a little bit lazy, and he convinced everybody that if they got to look in his shiny shell, they should have to bring him a lot of food, right? Which was kind of a silly story, but it has a good lesson. It teaches us a lot of things. there are also a lot of really hard words in this story. And this is going to be how I show you ways we can use the pictures in our stories to help us figure out words we might not know. Okay? So before we talk about talons and before we talk about scares, we are going to talk about how we can use the pictures in the story. So let me see if I can get nice and close here. Let me read this first paragraph. Long, long ago, all turtles had beautiful, shiny, round shells. So right there, beautiful, we know what that means. Round, we know what that means. Do we know what a shiny and what a shell is? Well, what if we didn't? Well, we know here's a turtle. They had beautiful, shiny, round shells. So it's beautiful. Shiny, I don't know. Round, okay, it's round. Oh, the shell is what they're talking about because that's what's on the turtle. So I know what a shell is, right? And shiny means that it is so clean and so clear that we can see a reflection, almost like a mirror. So when we see shiny, we know that it is bright and clean and clear. Indeed, turtle shells were so bright and shiny, the other animals could see their reflections in them. Well, do we know what reflections are? You can't see my pen. Let me try a different color. Reflections. Well, if you didn't and you're like, I don't know, Mrs. Sae-Wong, well, let's read that again. Indeed, turtle shells were so bright and shiny. Okay, we know it's bright and shiny, and they can see themselves. The other animals could see their reflection in them. Oh, I get it. So the reflection is what the other animal sees. It is like a mirror image that they can see themselves in this shiny, clean shell. So that's where we take information from what we read and from the pictures to help us answer that question of what does that word actually mean? Let's come over here to the next paragraph. Day after day, the animals paraded past the shiny shell of the great turtle leader to gaze at themselves in wonder. Do we know what that word gaze means? Gaze, gaze, gaze. Well, if we know they're gazing at themselves, that means they're seeing themselves, right? So to gaze is to look. But it's not just to look like, oh, that's cool. To gaze is to really stare and look and appreciate. Like what most of you probably do when you are looking at your video games. You are gazing at Minecraft in awe of everything that you have built, right? You don't just look at your Minecraft village. You gaze at it, appreciate it, think it's amazing. And that's the difference. We can say look or gaze. And although they mean the same thing, they actually don't. So to look is just to look. To gaze is to stare and appreciate what we're looking at. Okay? And gaze at themselves in wonder. When you say in wonder, that means that they are just like, oh my gosh, I'm gorgeous. I'm gazing at myself because I'm amazing. Okay? So let's turn the page. I'm going to turn to this page. Day after day, Turtle sat very still, eating happily. Bear came to groom his sleek fur. So he was combing his sleek, soft fur. Beaver came to look at his big, sharp teeth. Oh, there's those sharp teeth. He's looking at them in the mirror, or the reflection of the shell. Eagle came to gaze, which we know is to look, at his sharp talons and powerful hooked beak. So here is that word talons, that first word that we have written in our book. What is a talon? So there's not much in the story that could help us answer that question. Eagle came to gaze at his sharp talons and powerful hooked beak. So there's nothing in the writing. Let's go down to the picture. See how close I can get. So they said that powerful hooked beak, so we can see his hooked beak there, and his sharp talons. Well, here's the eagle. Here's his hooked beak. What else do we see in this picture that is part of the eagle? I'm seeing his foot right here. What does he have on his foot? What he has on his foot are his sharp talons. So I want you in your journal then to tell me what sharp talons are. What are those called on the bird's beak? Okay, so that's what you're going to do in your journal. You're going to write. So if we wrote gaze, you don't have to write this. Oops, you can't see. It helps if you can see what I'm writing. You would say to look at in wonder, right? Because that's what the story told us. So if that's how I would write gaze, if I'm going to write about the talons, what are the talons on that eagle? They're sharp what? Okay, think about it. Think how you might describe it. Hit pause, take a minute, fill in your description of talons. Come back when you're ready. We're going to talk about this during our Wednesday class meeting. So if you're having a hard time, that's okay. We'll work together, but I want you to try and send me your best guess. All right, if you're back with me, that tells me you have talons filled out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look for the word scarce. Are you ready? As winter approached, food became scarce. The animals found it difficult to get enough food for themselves as well as for Turtle. So let's look at the page before. When the animals were gathering all the food, oh my gosh, look at how piled high they have their trays. Look at all the food Mr. Turtle is enjoying. That is a lot of food, and he was greedy, wanting more and more and more. But so if this is a lot of food, let's turn the page. Now the story's talking about food is scarce. Sorry, let me get that in the right place. So if on one page we have a lot of food, and the next page it's scarce, what is the illustration telling us about that word scarce? Does that mean there's a lot of food still? Let's go back and look at that other page real quick. So that is a lot of food. That's like overboard, way too much. This is a scarce amount of food. What is the picture telling us about the word scarce? The animals found it difficult to get enough food for themselves as well as Turtle. Think about what that's telling you. Does it mean they still have a lot, or they do not have a lot of food? Okay, so I want you to take a minute. Finish filling in what you think scarce might mean based on the picture. And let me tell you something, my friends. If you're not sure, and if you give me an answer that's not right, that's okay. That's going to give us something to talk about. But I want you to do your best to give me what you think that word means. Hit pause, work on scarce, come back when you're ready. All right, if you're back with me, that tells me that you have done your best to tell me what talons and scarce mean. Again, we're going to talk about this during Wednesday's class meeting, so don't stress if it's not quite clicking yet, but I want you to give me your best guess. And that is it, my friends. Send me a picture of your journal writing in Seesaw when you're all done. Let me know if you have questions, and I will see you all a little bit later. Bye, friends.